I had just settled into my morning ritual. Coffee in hand, sunlight warming the edge of my kitchen table, when I heard the sharp, unmistakable click, click, click of angry high heels storming up my driveway. I peered through the window and, sure enough, there was Brenda Hutchinson, our HOA president and resident tyrant, brandishing her phone like a badge of authority. She was circling my front steps, snapping photos from every conceivable angle, her face locked in that familiar grimace of self-righteous fury. Then came the banging. 3 loud, purposeful knocks that sent a dull ache through the fresh surgical scar on my knee. I reached the door slowly, cane in hand, and eased it open. Brenda didn't bother with greetings. "This monstrosity has to go!" she barked, shoving a violation notice toward my face. "This handrail is both an eyesore and a hazard. You have 48 hours to get rid of it, or face a $500 fine." I glanced down at the modest, powder-coated aluminum handrail, a recent addition, installed just 3 weeks prior by a city contractor. "Brenda," I said, keeping my voice level, "that rail was put in by the city, under a medical accessibility grant. I've got the permits and approvals right here." She gave a dismissive snort. "I don't care if the mayor installed it himself. This violates HOA Regulation 7.3b. No unauthorized exterior alterations. You've got 2 days. Before I could even form a response, 2 city vehicles rolled up to the curb. Out stepped a pair of inspectors in official vests, and behind them, a man in a plain suit whose scowl said he wasn't here for small talk. Brenda's triumphant scowl slipped for the briefest of moments. The whole mess had started 6 weeks earlier. When I came home from knee replacement surgery, my doctor had made it clear I needed secure support for getting in and out of my home. Through my physical therapist, I discovered Riverside's Accessibility Improvement Program. Within a couple of weeks, the paperwork was approved, and a certified city contractor installed a simple, unobtrusive handrail. Inspector Marcus Chen personally signed off on it, confirming full ADA compliance. It matched the house trim and was installed to code. Clean, safe, minimal. But nothing escaped Brenda Hutchinson's wrath, especially not something she hadn't approved. As HOA president of Willowbrook Estates for the past 3 years, she had transformed our peaceful neighborhood into her personal fiefdom. She made daily patrols with a tape measure and a digital camera. Just last month, she fined the Johnsons because their daughter's tricycle was visible. The next insisted no metal fixture longer than 12 inches was allowed. By week 3, she was alleging that it was a public liability risk and threatening legal action. I brought it all, the letters, the permits, my cane, to the next HOA meeting. I explained the medical necessity, laid out the city documentation, even quoted ADA regulations. Brenda didn't flinch. "This board cannot make exceptions," she said, with a syrupy smile. "If we let you keep your handrail, what's next? Wheelchair ramps? Grab bars? Satellite dishes?" She scanned the room like a dictator rallying her troops. Board member Janet Morrison tried to interject. "But if it's medically required," Brenda cut her off. "That's what assisted living is for." The air froze. A few neighbors exchanged uneasy glances, but no one challenged her outright. Brenda had a reputation for making life miserable for anyone who opposed her. The fines began to arrive. $100, then $200, then $500. Each came with an absurd rationale, that the handrail might reflect sunlight into drivers' eyes, or encourage teenagers to use it for skateboarding. I started keeping a meticulous paper trail, logging every notice, every conversation. When Brenda cornered me at the mailbox and sneered that she was making an example out of me, I hit record. The breaking point came when I received a threatening letter demanding removal of the handrail within 48 hours, or face a lien on my property. The letter, printed on what looked like DIY HOA letterhead, even included a list of approved removal contractors, all connected to Brenda's brother-in-law. I called the city's accessibility office. The representative who answered listened in silence until I mentioned Brenda's nursing home comment and the lien threat. She transferred me up the chain. I spoke to 3 different officials within the hour. The last call came from the city attorney's office. They informed me that Brenda's actions may constitute a federal ADA violation and that an investigation would begin immediately. Meanwhile, Brenda strutted around the neighborhood, bragging that I'd backed down. She told Margaret Chan at the grocery store I was finally getting rid of that ugly railing. She even made a social media post about the importance of upholding community standards. Then came the morning visit from the city. I watched from my porch as 3 city vehicles pulled up. Out stepped Marcus Chen, a new inspector, a woman in a sharp business suit carrying a leather briefcase, and a plainclothesman who lingered near the cars. Brenda appeared almost instantly, camera rolling, expression smug. "This is HOA property," she declared, standing on the sidewalk. "You have no jurisdiction here. I'm the HOA president, and I'm ordering you to leave." Marcus calmly introduced himself and said they were there. "That illegal monstrosity is being taken down today," she shrieked. "I'm in charge, not you." The woman in the suit stepped forward. "Ma'am, I'm Deputy City Attorney Sarah Williams. We've received a complaint about potential ADA interference. We're here to inspect the installation." Brenda moved to block the walkway. "Over my dead body. I'll call the cops myself and have you arrested." The quiet man finally stepped forward, flashing his badge. "Detective Raymond Torres, Riverside Police. Please step aside and allow the inspection." Brenda scoffed. "Nice try. Anyone can print a badge. You think I'm falling for that?" She pulled out a crumpled citation and shoved it at him. "Here's your fine, $1,000 for trespassing, and if you don't leave now, I'll double it." Detective Torres remained calm. "Brenda Hutchinson, you are under arrest for harassment, falsifying documents, and obstructing a city investigation." The color drained from Brenda's face. "You can't arrest me. I'm the HOA president. I run this place." The handcuffs clicked shut. Neighbors began filtering out of their homes, drawn by the commotion. Some recorded the scene. Others stood silently, expressions of satisfaction barely hidden. As Detective Torres led her to the squad car, Brenda screamed, "You will all regret this. I was the president." Deputy Williams addressed the gathering crowd. "If anyone else has experienced HOA harassment regarding accessibility accommodations, we encourage you to file a report." Janet Morrison stepped forward. "She tried to fine me $3,000 for putting in a ramp for my mother's walker." More stories followed. Within minutes, it was clear Brenda's reign had affected nearly everyone. As she was driven away, still shouting threats out the car window, Marcus Chen completed his inspection. "Handrail is in perfect compliance," he announced. "Exceeds all safety standards." 3 weeks later, 2 letters arrived. The first was from the HOA board. Brenda had been unanimously removed from office after an emergency vote. Janet Morrison was elected interim president, and her first act was to void every fine Brenda had issued in the past 6 months. The second letter came from the city. Brenda Hutchinson had been found in violation of multiple federal ADA regulations. She was fined $25,000, sentenced to 300 hours of community service at the local Disability Rights Center, and warned that any further violations could result in up to 2 years in prison. The last time I saw her was outside the courthouse. gone with a sharp suits and pristine hair, replaced by a gray shirt and a hollow stare. A reporter asked how she felt about the fine and possible jail time. She barely whispered, "But I was the president."